it's gonna take a while to log me in, and there you go. And the next thing we're gonna do is force install dir, and for the path I'm gonna do server files. So the command force underscore install underscore dir sets our Counter-Strike application, all the files, all the server files, to be installed in this directory. And what I'm telling it to do is I'm telling it to install all of the server files by going up the directory and making a new folder called server files. If it's not there, if there's not a directory called server files, it'll make that for you, so you don't need to worry about that. And once you do this, it'll set that up. The next thing you want to do is app update and app ID, which is 232330, and this is the app ID for Counter-Strike Source, and this app ID might be different for other games, for other Steam games, and I can put the link down below to see all the different application IDs that you can find for other games if you want. Again, the way that I'm setting up this server for Counter-Strike Source, it's really similar. It's basically, once you know how to do this, you can set up a home server for any other game. So there you have it, and I'm going to execute that, and it will start downloading all the game files, the server files, into my directory called server files, which is up a directory from where we're located right now. I'm gonna come back to this later on, but I'm just gonna let it run for now. Okay, that actually was like 2 minutes for me, but depending on the on your download rate that you have, it might be faster for you. The one thing that I forgot to mention earlier is when you do app update, app update 232330, what this does is this basically either installs the app if it's not already installed, or updates the app. It basically knows what to do. And in the future, and this is the command that you'll be executing to update your server files. Also, the one thing that you might do is, well, I actually forgot to do this validate. This actually validates the application itself. So I'm gonna run that again. This shouldn't take that long, since it's just validating, as you can see here. Let's see what else. Well, instead of going into the actual Steam prompt like I did earlier, there's actually another way to do all this with a one-line code, a command actually. So I'm gonna show you how to do that, so you don't have to go to Steam prompt every time. So quit out of that using quit command and clear the screen. So what you would do is, instead of actually going to the Steam prompt, you would do steam cmd.sh/login. We're doing the exact same thing, but we're telling it to do all of the things directly at once. So you would do server files plus app update 232330 validate quit. This is exactly the exactly what I did earlier, but I'm gonna show you what it does just to make sure that I'm not lying. So as you can see, since it's already installed, it's now validating and seeing if there is any update available. That's all it's doing. I'm going to exit out of that since I don't really need that. And then that's it, actually. That's how easy it is to set up your own dedicated server. However, being Linux users, we're probably not happy with it yet. You're probably wondering how we can configure the server and manage it more rigorously. So if you want to learn more about that, continue watching. Otherwise, if you don't want to do anything else, if you just want to start the server and just play the freaking game, you can do the following. Go back a directory, and as you can see, it created the server files from before. So change your directory to server files, whoops, and it created all the necessary files and folders that we need to run our server. So to run the server, you would do s dot slash, this is again bash script. We're just executing the bash script, and you do console game C strike or Counter-Strike port, and remember that port that we forwarded earlier, 27015. And for your IP, what I had earlier was this, and it should be your internal IP. And when other people, your friends, are outside your local network, and if they wanted to connect to this server, they would actually have to put in your external IP address, which is like 71.229. whatever. You might have to. You can check out your IP address by going to whatismyipaddress.com. But okay, so you would do plus IP 192.168.0.100. That's my IP address. For the map, we're going to load in the map jdust. That's the basic map that we have. And for the max clears, you can set your max clears. I'm going to set it to 14 now. And as you can see, well, we haven't really created any of the server configuration files, so you can see all the errors. But well, warnings actually, they're not errors. And you can see, well, I'm not going to show you what my real IP address is, but either way, it basically connects your game server to the internet. So then the way to connect to this server is, like I said earlier, you would have to open up a Counter-Strike game and then connect to server and put in something like, I'm going to close out of this, put in something like your IP address and then the port 27015 and connect, and it'll connect and you can start playing. And like I said earlier, you can stop watching now if you don't want to learn how to configure your server, but if you want to learn that and other cool stuff, then stay around and I'll go through that. Okay, so let's see here. To edit the server configuration file, you would have to go to, just open up with your favorite editor. I'm just going to open it up with V, C strike, CFG, and sometimes this folder, this configuration file is already present. So if it is present, you might have to remove that and create a new one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do server1.cfg. And the one thing that I forgot to mention earlier is you can have multiple servers running from the same machine. So this is one way to do that. So if you wanted to configure one server with one settings and another server with other settings, then you would do the following. So I'm going to create the one server 1 first. So if it's not created, I'll just create that right now. It's empty. So some of the most common stuff that you want to put in here are like server name. I'm going to comment this out so you know exactly what's going on. Host name, which is your server name basically. When your friends connect to the server, they'll see this host name. So I'm going to put Kieran's awesome Counter-Strike server, and you can put in server admin password if you want over here by doing server archon underscore password and admin pass. That's entirely up to you what you want to do. Anyway, server password for entry into the game, which is sv_password. This is something that you would put if you wanted people who want to connect to your server enter a password, a unique password, or that's entirely up to you. You can put that blank or not even put the line in there. And for advanced configuration, you would use sv archon. I'm just gonna go through some of the things since there's lots of things that you can set here. And what this does is basically it's the number of minutes to ban users who fail the admin authentication if they're trying to log in on your as an admin to your server. And max failure, which is fine, I'm going to do that now. So this is the max number of times a user can fail Archon authentication before being banned. I'm going to put failures, oh, that should be failures actually. 5. This is the number of times a user can fail Archon authentication in this our sv_archon minimum failure time, and this is the number of seconds to track failed Archon authentications. So this min failures actually determines how many times you can fail during 30 seconds, pretty much. I mean 30 minutes, sorry, that's minutes. And let's see what else we have here. You can set something like mp_limit teams 1, mp_auto team balance 1. What this does is it only allows 1 player difference between teams, so you don't have like 5 people on one team and 10 people on the other team. It tries to auto balance the team as they log in. And there's also some of the things like sv all talk 0. This basically means players can't hear the other team talking. If you set it to 1, everyone can hear everyone, so it's entirely up to you. Pausable is 0, and this means server is not pausable. You cannot pause the game. And cheats, there are lots of cheats, but what this basically means is you don't allow cheats to be used on this server. And again, if you haven't noticed, 0 is false and 1 is true, so that's binary. sv_, well, okay, timeout. I can do timeout. And this basically means after this many seconds without a message from a client, the client